Hello, my name's Kevin. This is Dirty 20 Gaming, and this is not a cold open. Thank you for joining us, and yes, I kept it kind of a surprise until today. We're going to just call them Funshot Fridays again. Every second Friday when we're not doing the unwanted, we're going to do this to lighten the mood. But we'll get back to that in a minute because first I have some technical stuff I have to cover. Our virtual tabletop of choice is Roll20. The art in two of the three cases this evening was done by the person playing the character who was represented in the art, so we'll get to them in a minute. The other one was done using Hero Forge. I think that's it. Let's get to these amazing people who agreed to come and play a silly game with me again. And it has been, this is like somebody hit the long time ago button. It has been a while since I have gotten to play with any of you wonderful people. So, to get caught up, let's go around and tell everybody what you're doing when you're not here, which is rare that you're here anymore. So we're going to fix that. But until then, let's start with Hellhounds 20. Thank you so much for showing up. And where are you? And what you did a marathon one the other day. What are you doing? What are you streaming?
Good thing I finished eating a bit of my hot dog. Hi. It's been so long since I've been here. It's weird. Mm-hmm. Last time everyone saw me, I was a very weird plushie.
Yes, you were.
My name is Hellhounds20. Doesn't matter where you go. That's my name. You can find me on Twitch, streaming world building for tabletop RPGs, playing D&D, artwork, games, whatever really I want to do. Other than that, I'm not really doing anything. A lot of my games are on hiatus for understandable reasons. Some people had some medical issues. I hope they're doing okay.
Yeah.
Other people, convenient excuses.
One of the curses of the DM. But thank you so much for joining us. We're glad. I'm very glad you took time to come and play with us tonight. And yes, thank you for putting up your links over there so people can find you. I'm just going to go around the Zoom call here next. Oh, it has talking about been a long time. Mana Queen, welcome back. Oh, good to see you again. Last time we saw you, you were playing a sneaky sneak in a dungeon of sneaks. And it was great and joyous fun, and I enjoyed every second of it. What have you been up to since then?
Sneaky sneak in the dungeon of sneaks. I love it. Most of the time on Wednesdays, I'm streaming over on WH Publications. I play with Jeremy, who runs that channel, on Wednesday afternoons. Then I have some private games that are not streamed currently, hoping to change that. You can usually find me, same username, Mana Queen, all over the place. I think the only one that's slightly different is Twitter, because, usernames. And that one's just Mana Queen Games. And yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing.
Awesome. If you've got a link, go ahead and pop it up in chat.
Yeah, absolutely.
And make sure you also that everybody pops these up in the game links in the Discord as well, which is my excuse to drop the Discord in here as well. If there is anybody watching who isn't already part of this Discord, please join. This is a wonderful, friendly, nice place to be. And we'll just leave it at that. But I can't stop, because if I stop, I'll forget somebody, and I do not want to forget anybody, particularly somebody who may have been the longest since I've seen them and been in a game with them, of everybody. Miyu the Jellycat, thank you so much for joining us. It is always a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to this very much. You're another one of these people that streams more in some days than I stream in a week. So what have you been doing?
I've been streaming on Twitch. I've been doing karaoke streams, just chatting streams, any other games that come up. I've been having just a good time.
Perfect. That's what it's supposed to be about, right? We're supposed to be having fun. And speaking of having fun, thank you for the segue. We're going to get into this game. We are using the Tiny Frontiers game tonight. Tiny Frontiers Revised, to be specific. There is the hardcover book that was a gift from one of the wonderful people in our Discord to me. Mwah, thank you. I love it. One of the stories in here, and the one that I advertised on our Discord, is called Bears in Space. And I posted, who wants to be in Bears in Space? And many people went, yes. And I picked these 3 people. And almost immediately, they came to me and said, so how buried do these bears have to be? And the end result of those conversations was I've changed the name of the show to One Tiny Thing After Another. So with that, let's just drop in. And thank you, Miyu, for your link, putting your links up there. I asked everybody else to, and I didn't ask you. So thank you for taking the initiative. I'm a terrible host. Oh, but
Oh no.
that Bears in Space game in here was it's one of the micro settings. They give you a whole bunch in here, little places to put your adventures. And this one is by William Munn, so I wanted to make sure they got their credit. It looks nothing like your Bears in Space, but that's what this started as. So here we go, I guess. And I got to read, so I have to do this now. I'm at this age where I have to take these off to read and put them back on to see the screen in a minute. So,
Do you need bifocals, Kevin?
like you wouldn't believe, and I'm just being. I don't want to go get them because I don't want to have to say I wear bifocals now. So yeah, I'm just gonna sit here and be vain and take them off and on a regular basis until I poke myself in the eye too many times. But let's get back to you guys. You all work for a company called Sapience Incorporated, a company that specializes in bringing groups of sapients together to form teams to perform tasks most of the other heritages could not, would not, or can't do. Your group represents this company's first foray into that business venture. You've been sent to Arthuria, at which point I'm going to cut away for a moment to mention there's quite a few bear references in this story. So you're going to a place called Arthuria, a colony world, to investigate claims made by the colonists about structures melting out of the glacial ice, missing colonists, murders, and other odd occurrences. There was a lot of media coverage of your preparation and your send-off into space. And your bosses have made it very clear that failure is not an option. You've received a package with all that the SI, that's Sapience Incorporated, knows about the situation, and it isn't much. It all started about 6 weeks ago, when the spring melt exposed a cluster of strange buildings at the base of a glacial cliff. A group sent to investigate disappeared, never to be heard from again. In a garbled format, they got some messages that at least one colonist has been murdered, but there's no mention of how or why. There have been a number of disappearances, and that number is growing, but again, it's garbled. It's hard to tell how many. And finally, there have been sightings of huge, shaggy beasts. These sightings are now a regular occurrence, although the descriptions of what they are vary wildly. Until you get there, that's all you've got. So sitting in the sort of common area in the stateroom on the ship as you travel through hyperspace, all the windows are blacked out because looking at hyperspace makes you go, New York. So the three of you have those notes and nothing more. It's been 2.5 days since you've been on this ship. It's another 12 hours till you get there. Would you care to chat?
Yes, welcome to Specimen Inc., also known as C. Oh boy. Goo is probably like walking around, so slap, 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 making sure everybody is comfortable.
Yep.
These little robotic hands will sometimes like fetch things. If people ask, they'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
But like for the most part, Goose has been trying to see the warp outside, like see the stars passing,
Okay.
seeing just how dizzy they can get.
Okay.
It's
wow.
become a problem.
So, yeah. All right. So because you gave me that, you get the first roll of the night. Looking at the warp is a bad thing, and you are definitely not proficient and or a master of looking at the warp. That's kind of the whole point. So roll with disadvantage, please. That's 1d6. If you roll a 5 or a 6, something wondrous will happen. If you roll something other than that, bad things will happen. If you
So
roll a 1... So if you
do I
open up your
click
character
the
sheet, and on the top right-hand side, there's disadvantage, test, advantage, and initiative. Roll at disadvantage. Disadvantage rolls 1, test rolls 2, advantage rolls 3. And your
so I
targets
click
are-
the button disadvantage,
Yes.
or do I
Yep.
hit the check mark? Okay.
If you hit the check mark, that's for that. It'll tell you the next roll. But yes, a 2. Okay, you definitely see the warp. Which eye do you see it with? A cybernetic one or the goosey one?
I'm gonna look at it with the organic one
Okay.
first.
Wow. Okay, that's brave. You see the whole history of goose. Generations and generations of them going back. The first ones taken against their will and shoved full of computers and electronics. Later, it became a choice, and they chose it themselves. Just like you. You remember the ceremony, your birth as a goose. You pull your eye away from the hole, shake your head.
During all that flashback, Lottie and Lala here.
Sounds like he's having a good time.
Freaking out the way, you're looking out the window and just freaking out. And then you change, yes. You come back in literally a changed goose.
Lala just goes, oh.
He's not having a good time.
Lala's just like, okay.
And with that, the ship's captain, their voice comes over the intercom. Would our honored guests please gather on the bridge for our first communication once we leave hyperspace? Oh, and we prefer that this would be a formal event? So a few moments later, when you approach the bridge, we finally get to what you actually look like. The group that Sapiens Incorporated has decided to send to save the day, to make the best first impression in the business world since Bill Gates lied about starting his business in a garage.
Brave, very brave.
It's a game,
love
it's satire. I'm allowed to mock famous people. I'm covered on
Go
multiple
for it.
counts.
Oh, yeah.
But as you, in some cases, waddle, and in other cases, we haven't determined yet. I only said that because you had said the way you walk. Let's start with Goose. As you walk onto the bridge and see the formally attired staff waiting for your arrival, what do we see?
As the door opens, like there's some smoke and steam filling up the entire door, like every sci-fi reveal, and everyone's heads up, and then you just hear slap, 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 and like little mechanical whirs and clicks, and everyone's eyes draw down to this little red light and a bobbing red light to a Canadian goose with a collar around their neck. They got this backpack on with like a little cup holders. They have a harness that holds these little mechanical arms that don't look like they should be able to lift things, but they can. They have a mechanical brain exposed with like a USB port and an audio cord port right next to it.
Yep.
And one like another skull cap with a camera-like lens with a red orb, and they're just walking or waddling proudly, slap, 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 and they look at everyone. The collar fizzes, and a voice comes out. What? What you looking at? What? Their wings start to open up. Like what?
and with cause. The very prim and proper bridge is awash in suppressed giggles and smirks, and a number of the officers are trying desperately to look away because that's not all they see. You have mentioned a couple of pockets, I think it was, you said, on your backpack.
Cup holders.
Yes, cup holders. That's what it was, cup holders. Are they occupied at the moment?
I don't know, guys.
Yeah.
Are they occupied?
Are they occupied? Excellent. And the reason I ask is because they would not be occupied by cups. I don't care what the name is. They are instead occupied by, let's start with, a certain Lala.
So, from one of the cups on the goose's back, you just hear this, and next thing you know, this like shot of like gray just like right over Goose's shoulder.
Yep.
And a little sugar glider, about 5.5 inches long, tall, just launches off of Goose's shoulder like some dramatic guard entrance, like ta-da!
Complete with your own
It's just,
ta-da.
like, through the air.
Perfect.
And as she's gliding, she's dun, 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 dun. Like very, very dramatic music. Just
Providing your own soundtrack. Magnificent. You know you have met someone special when they provide their own soundtrack.
as she's like gliding through, she's like very slow angled so that she can land and be like ta-da!
Make the entrance last as long as possible and end up in a 4-point hero stance.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When their
On
eyes
her body,
drop-
she has a
please.
cape that billows
Yeah.
as she goes.
Nice.
Right? So she has her webbing in her arms, but she has a cape behind her that kind of billows a little bit, and a crossbow that's about an inch or so long, strapped to her back.
Oh, this is going to be
And-
so much fun.
That is Lala.
And that is Lala. When they tear their eyes away from that entrance and stop themselves from the spontaneous applause that broke out. People are looking at their hands like, oh, we're on duty. We should stop that. They couldn't help themselves. You're a natural born performer. Making their entrance now in the other cup holder. Oh, Lottie.
Yeah, Lottie sort of like while Lala's like doing the whole performance, he kind of just slips out of the cup holder and it's like walking behind him like a tap 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 because there's a little squish in his at the bottom of his shoes. He looks around, sees the clapping. He's like, "Oh right, formal," and he puts on a mustache.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to our viewers who thought you were going to get maybe a serious game.
No, because well, you see, this is the first time I've ever done this. Some of you may know about the Happy Storyteller Award that I give for people for being super creative and breaking my game. This will be the first time I have ever given it for character introductions to all three of you. So huge Happy Storyteller moment. All three of you start the game with a reroll. Thank you so much for that. Those were amazing.
The crowd looks up from looking at these two. There's a different goose.
And it's a different goose, yes.
Different goose.
Yes. Yes, you're not seeing things, chat. The art for Goose changes on a regular basis, as does Goose. With that, we can bring the other two tokens down onto what passes for a map in this game. I'm just going to put you at far, because right now you're not near anything. But the three of you take your places of honor in amongst all these hyper-fancy uniforms around you. And the captain looks down, makes sure everything is ready, and nods to the person on comms. The hollow space lights up in a three-dimensional image of a scruffy man behind a desk. He's got at least 3 days' growth of beard. There's food stains all down the front of his shirt. He looks up like he's surprised by the screen opening in front of him. "You took your bloody time, didn't you?"
I got a little
Well, never mind that. The captain puts their hand on your shoulder. I think they were talking to me. Or finger on your shoulder. Finger on your shoulder. I think they were talking to me.
They reach their hand out for the sugar glider and they hear like a hiss from Goo.
They read your report. They back away carefully. You do not piss off the Canadian Cobra chicken in any of its forms. The voice interrupts this wonderful moment. We need you down here now, but we need you. We strongly suggest you land east of this colony. That's east of the colony, not west, where the landing area is. Repeat, land to the east. And he looks off camera for a second, looks back. I need to go. Please report to town hall once you land to the east of the colony. And poof, the hollow space goes black.
Just to make sure, east is right?
When you're looking at a normal
Yes, it
map,
is.
yes. With
That
north
way.
at the top, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It
That,
is.
that way.
Yes.
That way.
That way, yes.
Goo's little robotic arms like pat you guys in the back. I got it. I have a great sense of direction.
Oh,
It's that way. Points a wing.
oh my God. Yeah, because you're migratory. Of course you do. Oh, wow. Oh, we're not going to get anything done tonight. This
We
is
broke
magnificent.
Kevin.
We broke
Absolutely.
Kevin!
I've been looking forward to this particular grouping since I saw it when I looked down at the people I'd said yes to him. And, So let's go. The captain looks around after the screen goes dark and kind of grins. Well, then, Helm, land to the east of the colony if you would, and park it close. I'd rather it was a short walk or run back to the ship, if that becomes necessary. The shuttle is loaded and checked twice. Would you care to accompany me?
Sure.
It will apparently be the captain, the three of you, and 6 security guards wearing red shirts,
Oh no.
descending onto the planet Arthuria. You make your way to the shuttle bay, enter the shuttle, Ursus. I told you there were a lot of bear references in this. And drop out of the belly of the parent ship. Arthuria is a planet of snow and glaciers almost exclusively. They cover almost all of it, and they're pale green like washed-out emeralds. The only habitable area is called the Lichen Belt. It's a thin strip right around the equator, and it's a blotchy mix of blues and grays and dark greens. Your re-entry, as you burn your way into the atmosphere, leaves a golden trail across the turquoise sky. You can see why they want to colonize here. It's frickin' beautiful.
Even though we're in a shuttle, you see Goose like slowly outstretch their wings and lightly flap like.
Oh yeah. Lava is on Goose's shoulder doing the same thing. Like,
Gliding inside, yep.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, like a bunch of dogs with your heads out the window and one foot
Yes.
pretending to run. I'm so fast.
Yeah.
The shuttle lands in a small clearing to the east of the colony, and the engines shut down. And for the first time in 3 of your days, it's quiet. Because hyperspace engines are, they're like living next to an elevator. It's just kind of a constant hum. You get used to it, but once it turns off, you notice it's gone. And the shuttle re-entry was just flat out loud. In the silence that follows, you have a chance to look outside before you go outside. The ground is entirely covered in lichens and mosses. There's no grass, there's no trees, there's no shrubs, nothing that big. And it's all patchy. It looks like a map. All these different nations marked out in different colors. And the inner biologist in you would know it probably is. You're probably witnessing a war that's been going on for millennia. But the doors open, the smells hit. They're very pale. They're not like pine tree. They're not, berry bushes. It's very subtle. It's just kind of alive.
Lala's nose is like twitching, like wild. She's like, just like.
Goo's gonna look up at the captain. Are you sure no other of us have been here? Because it looks like a goat has been through here.
It's probably taken 500 years for it to grow that tall. But hang on, don't go outside just yet. There's something I landed right here because I wanted you to see. You might want to step back from the door a bit.
Slap, slap.
And bursting from under the rocks at a speed, it's hard to fathom it. It's mushrooms. Huge, gigantic mushrooms. They grow like inverted pine trees. The long fronds come out first, and then the next shorter ones, and shorter and shorter and shorter. In next to no time, they're 30 feet tall. The bark, the skin, the needles are all made out of the same material. It's mushroom. The captain looks at you and says, happens every dawn.
Wow.
When it bursts out, like Goo's wings have popped open, like, whoa.
Yeah.
Eat it.
But this clearing remained. And then you see why. Because coming out of this forest, somehow having arrived with it, maybe having camped underground, come the bisondillos. Imagine a buffalo with an armadillo's armored back. These are specifically bred for tough planets where the local predators might kill your prey. They come out and form a circle with the biggest, nastiest looking ones faced at your ship. The door opens again. The ramp goes down. The captain says, after you.
I know you meant bison as in buffalo. I did
Right,
not
but
think
I
of
started laughing
buffalo.
because I
You
heard
might know who I'm
bison.
thinking of when you said that.
Yes, a whole
So
herd
it's
of
just-
a whole herd of him. Yes, with armadillo shells down his back. Yes,
That's what I thought.
everything is an inside joke. Yes.
Oh no.
Okay.
I don't even know if he's watching. I don't think so.
I think so
I'll send
either.
him a link.
Hi, Bison.
But yes, bisondillos, a whole herd of them. They seem to be staying at the other end of the clearing. After you.
How big is the clearing?
A couple 100 meters. Meters, basically a yard for our American friends.
Yes, thank you.
Goose is just gonna start walking forward. Slap, slap, slap. They're all
Down under the
ground.
rocks, yeah. From now on, all players must provide their own walking sound effects. It's gonna be
Lala's is like,
as you try
It's
desperately to fly,
either
but can only shout.
it's either that noise or nothing because they're flying.
So, even though these mushrooms just popped up, it is still cold here. The wind coming through the door is chilly. It's not.
oh, Lala doesn't like it. She is skittering up Goose and like back in her cup. She's like, no.
Luckily, it's an insulated cup.
Goose is now the type of goose that very clearly has teeth. And
Terrifying.
like their feathers start to poof up to give insulation to anybody who wants to wants a ride.
Absolutely.
Lala's taking
Lottie?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lottie's climbed back into the cup holder.
Yep.
And it's like, onward!
And onward the three of you go. The captain bravely following behind, and the 6 red shirts resignedly following behind them. You get to the bottom of the stairs, and the bisondillos sort of shift a little bit away from you. Like they're not being aggressive. It's clearly a defensive posture. The captain says, just this way, and heads in a different direction than the herd, which is nice for you.
As they walk by, though, Lala's like,
Everybody give me just a straight test as you sort of look around and see the surroundings. Nope. Nope. That's a lot of 4s.
hey,
Oh, and yeah.
yay!
Lala, you're given the evil eye. You're given the I'm watching you to the bisondillo herd. And you kind of you give them that sort of look away thing, and in the look away you catch out of the corner of your eye movement in this big giant mushroom forest. This is not a bisondillo, it's smaller. I mean, a bisondillo is 4 meters, 12 feet at the shoulders.
Yeah.
Right, this is maybe only 2 meters, 6 feet. but it's black. It's got big red eyes that look like hourglasses, and big long horns, and there's a red plasma arcing back and forth between the horns. This is a hell goat. This is what farmers use to protect the bisondillos. You kind of look back at the armored bisondillos and go, shit, they need protection? How bad must this thing be? You look back and it steps out into the clearing. The other two of you, blithely unaware of what's going on, continue following the captain and the red shirts.
Goose.
You just in a little cup.
Hold on. Every time Goose changes to a different form, they have a different voice. What?
Wow, you're making this challenging for yourself.
Yes, I want to do voices.
It's beautiful. I love it.
They're gonna look back at
Like-
Lola. What?
You guys have earned like 3 rerolls each, or at least. Yes. You look back and you see the evil hell goat coming out of the clearing. It's posturing, like it's getting off. It's trying to convince you it's a bull. It's pawing the earth. Lottie.
Goose.
Oh, sorry. Go
Goose-
ahead, Goose.
Goose narrows her eyes, lowers their head like an aggressive goose would, and like just spread their wings behind them. Like I don't care.
The teeth are already out. With that, Lottie, on the back of Death Goose, you are about to go on a ride. You know it. What do you do?
I think Lottie is still completely unaware of this, just out in his own brain, just staring around like, wow, that was really pretty. Turns around, oh God!
Lala is not quiet. She's like,
Well, you saw it first, and now they've both had a chance to react. So you see Goose has got it. Eventually, Lottie gets it too. And now,
eventually.
back to you. It's just coming out of the clearing, and it's starting to lean forward. It is starting... Clearly, it's starting an attack run. The captain steps bravely behind the 3 of you and draws their laser pistol. These 6 red shirts resignedly form a wall in front of you between you and the charging hell goat. They don't even bother drawing their weapons.
Oh, poor guys.
Lala, what do you do?
We come in peace.
Okay.
She's just kind of like, please don't.
It doesn't even break stride, but when you say the word peace, that red plasma between the horns like quadruples up. It's just like it hates that word. Just, and if anything, it speeds up.
No.
Goose is gonna look at the 2. Shall we do it with this?
Goose, you go. What do you do?
Goose is gonna step forward past the red shirts, and like as they're going, their mechanical arms suddenly grow in size to be muscular looking, like very strong.
But they're still cyber, right? So,
yeah, they're cybernetic.
Yeah.
But like they're wearing them around their collarbone, right above their wings.
Sure.
And they brace themselves to catch the goat with these strong cybernetic arms.
Wow. Goat sees challenge. Goat accepts challenge and changes their trajectory right at this to it minuscule goose. I mean, you're a big goose, but compared to a 6 foot tall goat.
I am a goose that is big enough to feed people for the holiday dinner.
Yes.
I'm a big goose, but I'm not that big.
You're a 2 hands to take you out of the freezer kind of a goose. I get it. So your response to hell goat is, bring it. I want a hug. Over their shoulder, Lottie.
Yeah. Okay, so but I'm gonna tear off my mustache because we don't need it, and I'm gonna hold it in both hands, and I'm gonna throw it at the goat's eyes.
Because of this magnificent game, this absolutely wonderfully magnificent game, that counts in our modification of it. That is a light ranged attack because it is one-handed. I'm assuming you threw this one-handed?
I'm gonna try to throw it
two-handed because you are tiny and it is a big mustache. So two-handed.
Yes.
So this is a heavy ranged weapon, a mustache. of great heft, and you fling it, and you were trying to put it where? On their
Uh,
eyes?
On one of their eyes, yeah.
On one of their eyes.
I think I'm too small to put it on both.
Yes, probably. So give us, are you proficient in that?
I am
You
proficient
are
in heavy
proficient
range.
in heavy ranged weapons. You probably don't have mastery in mustache, though, right?
No, I do not have
No,
mastery
okay. So
mustache.
you will roll 2 dice, and if you roll a 5 or a 6, but before you roll, remember there's things you can do. You can do 2 actions on this turn.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, consider is you can focus.
Yeah.
Which, yeah. Would you like to do that? That means your next attack
Yeah.
would hit on a 4, 5, or 6. Well, here's a cool thing on the character sheets that are in this game. In Roll20, I mentioned that before. There is a little checkbox for focus. And if you click
Oh.
that before you roll, it does the maths for you.
I see.
Ooh.
So we don't have to go, is that a 4?
Yeah. All right. I'll use focus, and that will activate my trait marksman.
Oh my goodness.
But it doesn't matter.
What does the marksman trait do?
It lets me also it also is a success on a 3, 4, 5, or 6.
3,
so it
4,
just makes
5,
it a
or
bit
6.
more.
Holy smokes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, you have rerolls. Zzz.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and use my
Okay.
reroll.
So just before you do, you hurl the mustache in both hands, but you give it a spin, and it boomerangs. It goes right up to one eye, and then it comes back, and you catch it. And you're like, I meant to do that. And you wind up and do it again. Oh, we hadn't mentioned critical hits here, because that's a critical hit. So you know how you said it probably wouldn't be possible to get both
Yeah.
eyes?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the sticky bit hit him here with the mustache upside down. So it's actually, you know, like when you got your bangs are too long? Yes, I used to have
Yeah.
bangs. It was a very long time ago. And they get right in your eyes, and you kind of
Yeah.
your mustache is in the goat's eyes, and I am going to give it disadvantage on all of its attacks because of that. And that reroll you just burned, you get back for throwing your mustache as a weapon. So, so a half-blinded goat charges to where you. It is now that half-blinded held goat's turn. It was going straight at Goose, and nothing's changed except that it's going to be rolling at disadvantage when it would normally be rolling at advantage because it's using its electromagnetic horns. So 1 die. No. Goose, you see it. It starts to veer. It hits a rock and it starts to veer to the left. It's going to miss you, but luckily, you've been waiting for it. So what do you do?
So I'm gonna reach my arm out to grab it
Yeah.
and slam it to the ground in the sense of I don't want to kill you, but you need to leave me alone.
Absolutely.
Like assert dominance, essentially.
Right. One-handed or two-handed? Just in
One-handed.
case.
So
One-handed.
because I'm good with light melee.
You are good with light melee. Light weapons are one-handed, heavy weapons are two-handed, and because of the way we play this, yes. If you would like, you are proficient with that, are you not? Light melee?
I am proficient with light melee, and I'm also using my cyber arms ability, so I have advantage if I
Excellent. Okay.
lift, carry, or budge something.
You are definitely lifting, carrying it, and then dropping it. So yes, absolutely. So give us an advantage roll. And again, you've got 2 actions. You can focus as well.
So do I click the button advantage or the button test?
The button advantage, and it will roll
Okay.
3 automatically. Oh my goodness. You weren't properly warmed up. You pulled a neck. I'm afraid. Neck. There are several rerolls available to you.
Yeah. Like you hear they pull something that you know that there's that distinct goose honk everyone knows from the farms.
Yeah.
The really raspy one. But the other mechanical arm adjusts the strap to try it again.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this again. And
Oh, yes, there it is. Yeah. You just catch it the second when you just reach out and grab it just by the throat, lift it up, and just power slam it to the ground. You could feel the wind get knocked out of it. There you go. And you said specifically you wanted this to be sort of non-lethal damage.
yeah, like assert dominance, you leave me alone. And also like the other inflated, massive mechanical arm daintily plucks the mustache off.
So it can see again. Okay. Perfect.
Look me in the eyes when you talk to me.
Yeah, this
Lala.
glowing red orb.
Yes, one red orb staring down at two reversing red goat eyes. Those weird hourglass-shaped
Yeah.
pupils.
Yeah.
Lala, what are you doing?
Well, as you know, as Goose kind of like the force of Goose's like tackle and swing.
Oh yeah.
When Goose does that, Lala jumps so that she catches wind,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And she goes,
And then
she pulls her crossbow and she's like, stay down. No, her crossbow arrows are like they're
oh yes.
they're really sharp. It's
Yes.
like throwing
A sewing needle?
little tiny needle knives that are like it's like piercing needles, so they hurt.
Well,
right?
the
Like
Yeah.
they're strong.
one of the really cool
Seamstress
things
needles.
with
Needles.
Tiny Frontiers Revised is that all weapons do 1 point of damage unless it specifically says otherwise in the description. So a punch
Yes.
in the face, a shot with a laser gun, or a needle in the arm at 900 miles an hour, they all do
Right.
1 point of damage. So
She's going for one of its hands so that
Oh,
like when
okay.
Goose tackles it, it kind of like stay down.
I only look like this because it's a goat, and I'm trying to figure out where its hands are.
I mean, I was thinking more like satyr, but okay.
No,
if it's a
no,
goat.
this is
Okay.
no, don't get
Okay.
ahead of us.
Well, you know,
No, I wanna lean-
what if
I
it's
wanna-
ankle moves?
I want to lean into this. Like maybe you shoot Goose's hand by accident. So like if you fail and it hits Goose, that's
Well,
fine.
yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. If there's a bunch of ones rolled, we'll see. But you're trying to shoot the hoof.
Yeah.
Trying to pin them to the ground, sort of thing.
Yep.
Okay. Absolutely. Fire away.
Okay.
It's a twang so high pitched that only dogs can hear it.
Okay, so she is proficient in
Crossbow. Yeah. I'm
um,
assuming you have
light
mastery.
range,
Yep.
and she has
it's
mastery,
one-handed.
so that's advantage, right?
So this is a one-handed, sugar glider-sized crossbow. So it's, yeah. Boink. Looks like something you put in a drink.
Oof.
Wow.
Oof.
So you've got
Brutal.
rerolls. I feel like I've said that before.
Yeah, she'll use when you hear ting and it kind of
Everybody
misses
starts
and
to roll. Yeah, the string
nobody
goes, the
can
arrow
see- nobody
doesn't. It's
see
like,
where it
oops,
went.
rookie mistake. Pull it back, line it up. Also,
Yeah.
are you focusing? Or are you going to shoot twice? Because
No, she's just like
you can have 2 shots because you get 2 actions per round.
okay. Well, so she's just gonna like go again. There we go.
Bam. So it goes right through one hoof and splits that hoof. It doesn't pin it to the ground, but it definitely does a point of damage for sure. And it pulls its foot away and shakes it, and you see it definitely hurt. It definitely did some damage, but it didn't physically pin them to the ground. You have one more action.
She's gonna try to just like, I guess focus,
Yeah.
as she like glides around the thing to like for next time
Okay.
if needed.
Okay, so yes, that's what these are for. I'm going to put that just beside you, and you are focused. So now that's just to remind us that you are. Lottie.
Yeah, I'm gonna focus.
Okay,
And then I'm gonna take out my automatic rifle and point it towards him.
an axolotl-sized automatic rifle.
yes, I am.
Meet my little friend.
And I
I hope I didn't blow your line.
and I think I'm gonna aim at the that Lala already hit.
Oh, okay.
Trying to make it hit extra hard.
Ow. Okay.
Yes, and I have mastered weapon, but that's not inside.
Oh yeah, so
Yeah.
3 dice. Oh yeah, with the focus, yeah, that is absolutely you. You should. It was split before, and your bullets kind of rattle across the whole thing and just shatter the end. It now looks like this hellgoat chews one nail. Like it's just at the end is just shot. It's just all bits and pieces, and it's limping back, and you can see the quick through the end of it. It's like, every time its foot touches the ground, it's backing up and shaking it. I'm going to give it disadvantage again because now it's lame. You blinded it, and you lamed it, and you're just taking this thing down. I love it. But now it's the goat's turn again. It is slammed to the ground with its foot all shot up. It kicks up with both back feet, attacking twice against Goose, the Doom Goose, at disadvantage. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Both back feet. Right up into you. 2 points of damage, Goose. They kicked the sound out of you. They must have broke your speaker. But it damaged you, but it didn't take you out. What are you doing, Goose? Nobody beats the Cobra Chicken.
You see Goose tilt and twitch their head. Nope, wrong one. There we go. And they change Goose. And they look down at Lottie. I was just trying to get it to leave us alone. I wasn't trying to hurt it.
In my head, there's suddenly a little army helmet on the axolotl.
Goose is just gonna back up.
Okay. The goat has seen better days. Lottie, you said you were your response to this plea for the goat's life was to open up. Go ahead and shoot. Are you shooting twice or focusing and shooting once, or what are you doing?
I'm focusing and shooting once.
All right. Where in the goat are you shooting? Oh, I love this game. You get to say sentences like, where in this goat are you shooting?
I'm gonna shoot at the other one in the back. The back.
Oh, you guys
the back
are
hoof.
evil.
So it's he can't come get us.
Oh, okay, yeah, go ahead, have a shot. Oh, yeah, just, you missed the foot. I mean, I'm just going to play into this. You got him in the ankle. I mean, just the whole back ankle just caves. The movement of the goat has now changed. Instead of trying to, like, sort of get away from this grasp and attack, it's now trying to crawl desperately away. It is rolled over, given its back. It is the little bzz, bzz between the horns has stopped. One of the horns is broken. It's desperate on its one good back leg and one good front leg. It's crawling circles in the dirt because you broke both the ones on the same side, so it can only go in circles. Lala, it's probably suffering. I mean, it's yeah.
Goose
Lala
does
goes-
not look happy. I'm gonna point that out.
Yeah.
Lala just goes, Lottie! Because Lala was really only trying to pin it to.
Yeah.
Lottie has like you know that face where it's like there's two eyes going different directions. That's Lottie at the moment.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
The true Lottie shines through. Scene one, act one.
And Lala kind of, as she was gliding down, so she comes the other way and she's focused, so she lands next to the thing, and like she lands like right next to its head.
Yeah.
And she's just like,
It's, and you're right here, and it just stops. It's just staring at you.
Lala just like goes up and puts her hand like on its like nose and is like, do you want to die?
It's a goat. This is going to be a really difficult sell. Give me a disadvantage test to see if you could talk a goat out of fighting you. The most violent animal that isn't a wolverine or a honey badger in the world.
Poor Goose.
One die.
Oh, I hit
Nope.
disadvantage. I don't know why it didn't. Okay.
Go ahead. It's that kind of night. Roll again with disadvantage. Maybe you'll get it.
Okay. Wait, what? I have the disadvantage ticked.
Oh,
Do I
don't- just hit the
You need to
disadvantage
click the
box.
button.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
there you go.
Yeah,
A
no.
1. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah. It looks at you and kind of squints, and you see it, and its one eye kind of goes dim. The other one looks at you, and it's like you might as well hear it in your head. It just, I'm a fucking goat. And tries one more time to smack you in the head. It is at disadvantage, but you brought this on yourself. Nope, it misses completely, and poof, off the floor, and kind of it's now half concussed. Back around to Goose. It doesn't get around. It's all but unconscious.
Goose is they can't take their backpack off or else they'll lose their arms. They're gonna walk over.
Yep.
One of their mechanical arms is gonna cover the cup holder that Lottie is in, so your roof is my hand. And I don't have medical supplies on my sheet,
Nope.
but Goose is gonna try and patch up the goat.
Absolutely. Give us the disadvantage because you don't have medical. So. And it works. You walk over and you try all kinds of stuff. The only thing you manage to do is you kind of put the horn back on, and it sticks. It's like, oh, you know. And the goat looks up at you and bleats sadly. Thank you, floor sweeper. That was worth the wait. It says first time chat. Does it still get your goat when they fail to persuade the goat? But speaking of persuading the goat, you just did. It looks up at you and goes, meh.
Goose has this look of like someone who didn't want that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's and like their hand is still covering Lottie.
You see a look on a goat that I don't think anybody in the real world has ever seen on a goat. It's confusion.
I don't know. I think goats look pretty confused.
Yeah.
But it's just, and then it nuzzles you like a dog. It's kind of using its horns, so it's clearly trying to nuzzle you.
Goose's head is gonna swivel around to one of the red shirts. Whoever has medical supplies, patch it up,
And they all rush forward,
please.
happy to be alive. And with the joy of the survivor who wasn't expecting to survive, they patch this goat up, the rest of the 3 damage that you were done. And as they finish, the completely healed goat jumps up on its feet and kind of gives itself a shake, and that dust comes off because they're always dusty. And it looks at you, Goose, looks down, way down at you, and nods its big head. The plasma fire comes back between its horns. And it kind of nods again and turns around and does that little 4-legged goat bouncy thing.
Yeah.
Across the field back toward its herd. You see it start breaking up the circle of the herd and starting to get them to relax.
Goose's arms deflate to the scrawny little grabbers.
Yeah.
So now Lottie can see what's happening.
It's revealed that Lottie's been spinning around in the cup holder. Like, you know how when you like put a like a blanket over a cage? That's Lottie. Oh.
My cup holder has become not only what is it called? It's the thing that spins like blood vials.
Oh, centrifuge, yeah.
Centrifuge.
Yeah.
It's also become a hamster wheel, apparently.
As this encounter ends, you turn around and you see the captain struggling to get her pistol out of her very ornate belt. She never managed to get involved in the fight at all. In the near distance,
And the cold breeze reminds Lala that it's cold out here.
Yes, it is. It's cool out here.
Lola definitely skitters back into her cup. Like,
the cups are full again. And you turn to look, and at the end of this clearing, there is a collection of like containers, like shipping containers, that have been made into a wall. You can see one end of it. You can also see people walking around. It's quite a distance, but you can see people walking around on top of the wall. And a couple of them seem to be armed. It must be the colony. The captain looks at you and says, from here you're on your own. I appreciate this, and she points at her 6 surviving security team. Not quite sure what we're going to do for beds tonight. We'd already sort of written them off, but we'll be in the ship if you need us. And the group of the 7 of them turn and head back to the ship, leaving the 3 of you alone on the surface of Arthuria. The colony in the distance. And again, bowling Hellgoat in the distance. What do you do?
The moment they can't hear us, Goose goes, where are we supposed to go? Besides east?
East.
We're not supposed to check in on the colony? Okay.
I remember east.
Oh, something happened?
No, they're pointing in different directions.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because
Oh,
yeah,
oh no,
yeah,
sorry.
I wanted to make
sorry,
sure you didn't
sorry,
make an
sorry.
X.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I was just,
No way.
Yeah.
No, not an X.
I
Sorry.
said, wait a minute. What is it about
No.
the direction south? There's a problem.
No, sorry.
I have a phobia. of
You guys landed.
compass.
Okay, you guys
Sorry.
landed east of the colony, so the colony is west of you.
Okay, and we were supposed to check in on the colony,
Yep,
or
you're supposed to go to the.
Okay.
Yeah, you're supposed to check in at the. Town hall. That's all they call it. That's all they called it.
Is it a colony or a cult?
There's a difference?
I don't know.
Boo is gonna start waddling towards the colony.
Yeah.
Slap,
Um,
slap, 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 slap.
I need to see something. Because this is absolutely possible.
But now
Okay.
the pitter patting is accompanied by a jingly bell, like a collection of bells. As there's like, whenever they turn into this goose, there's a little cat bell around their collar, and then two little dinner bell little things
Okay.
that like a butler would have hanging off their belt.
Okay. You get closer and closer, and you realize that the people on the roof have not realized who you are, that you're the mission. They're still looking in the distance over your head at the ship as you walk right up to the containers. No one challenges you. As far as you can tell, no one even sees you, or if they see you, they certainly don't see you as a threat. You walk unchallenged right up to the gate, which is just one of these containers on wheels. It's closed.
Goose is gonna
Do we
look back.
knock?
Should I knock?
That's a big door.
It is. It's a people-sized door. Yes, it is humongous. Ooh, this
You see
bastard's
Goose's you see Goose's metallic arm raised, wind back to knock, and then their head just goes bang, bang, bang
Dong,
Bang, bang,
dong,
bang.
as they
dong.
change into the Canadian Goose.
There are 3 Canadian goose skull-shaped print dints in the side of the container now. And a very quiet moment later, it starts to wheel itself out of the way. And behind it, you see clearly a genetically modified person. They're called in the game. They're called gens. They are. You can always tell because they always make themselves super beautiful. They're just like ridiculously superhuman looking. This one has a rifle over one shoulder, and they open the door about this much, and they look around, and finally they look down. What the? And they
The arm that was
stop.
wound back to knock shifts to waving.
Hello.
Who the hell are you?
We're the team from. Hold on. I remember words.
Sapiens.
Sapiens
Incorporated.
Incorporated? Yeah.
Yeah,
Also known
Sapiens
as
Incorporated.
C.
C.
Yeah. You're what now?
We're from Sapiens Incorporated.
Lala like holds up like whatever like temporary
Your
badge.
little
she had
ID,
to
and,
pick
and
on.
it's like it's this.
It's
big,
like
like,
itty
nobody
bitty.
could read it without a magnifying glass. And
Who's,
behind the guard, you hear, "I've got this, Sergeant Wilberforce. Back to your duties." And they stop for a moment, and they've just been ordered to do something, but they stand there just that split second too long before they leave. And as they leave, you can see past them, you can see another figure. This is a human. Zip. We skipped all that bit. Where are they? There we go. Human female walking towards you. They've got that smile on their face, like they're trying very hard, trying not to notice that you're different. Trying very hard to be professional about this, and they walk forward. Hello, and thank you for coming. My name is Felicity Grace. I'm what passes for a mayor around here. And she pauses for a second and waits to see if you say anything about her name. Felicity Grace. There's a face.
I feel like that's
Yeah, a tiny. I just saw it. There was a tiny sugar glider went.
I feel like I recognize it. I don't know.
She just said, my parents were members of a religious group that had a very particular naming practices. I'm, like I said, the colony manager, mayor, whatever you want to call it. I'm the one that called for help. And then she has
You're the
to...
one in charge.
So most of us believe, and she turns and looks, and the sergeant's only like a couple steps away. She said, that will be all, Sergeant. And he starts to walk further away.
The goose is gonna look at the sergeant and like do the wing thing. Go, what? What?
She kind of grins and said, "It is. I'm sure you understand what it's like having getting good help. But regardless of the help that I've got, we do have an issue here. Would you like to come in? Drinks? I understand the ship that you were on was dry."
Absolutely.
And they take you inside one of the colony buildings. This is a prefab, but this is the colony manager's prefab. It's a little colonial. It's got some fake pillars on the front, and there's a lot of hints of colonial European invasion of the South Asian continent, shall we say. It's got that sort of look about it. But they take you inside and offer you drinks. And I have to know, what, given the choice of an almost infinite creatively bar, something that can synthesize every drink in the known universe, what is it that you ordered? Anybody know? Anybody want to go first?
I can.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
So Lala orders this drink that comes in a glass that's about half this. It's a shot glass, so it's about half the size of her, right?
Yep.
And it is like electric blue, literally.
Yep.
And it's kind of like fizzing
Yep.
and like, and there's sparkles in it. It's like carbonation sparkles, and it is like making like a quiet hum fizz. And there's a like long there's a long straw out of it.
Yep.
And it is now at the end of the day, alcohol is just sugar,
Yes.
right?
Yes, it is.
So, but it's
You just keep telling yourself that.
the alcohol is made with sugar.
It is. Yeah.
It is, yeah.
But so it also just has an unnatural amount of sugar in it. It might be some sort of spirit based.
Yeah.
But whatever it is appears to be very sweet alcohol, just like straight in a shot glass that Lala has a straw for, and she just kind of like leans against it, puts her mouth on the straw, and is like.
I was gonna add, like, whenever Lala looks away,
Yeah.
you see Goose reaches into a compartment in their backpack, pulls out a little eyedropper with like translucent sugar, like liquid sugar, and just into their drink and puts it away before they know it.
Extra spice in the sugar drinks.
We said we were gonna do it.
Yep,
So.
absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. You can see, you look down your sugar glider is vibrating so hard they're out of focus. The glass is starting to hum, right? In the sympathetic vibration. Lottie, an axolotl, a creature with external gills, whose very life requires the flow of oxygen through those gills.
Yes.
What do you order as a drink?
Okay, so I think Lottie orders the drink that has like a little bit of every single type of alcohol in it. So just a little tiny glass with it. And then he picks up the glass, and he has like a dome on his head, by the way, that's filled with water so he can still breathe.
Oh, yes, good
And he
idea,
picks
yes.
he picks up the glass and he just dunks it on His dome face, like he's drinking.
Like the upside down fish tank.
Absorbs it.
You pour it on the outside of the bubble?
No, I
Or it's
tip
open.
it over like I'm drinking it.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah. Well,
But
some
it's
of it,
just spilling onto my suit.
sure. One or two drops do get in a little bit in underneath your bubble hat, so you can, if you want or not, whichever. Entirely up to you.
Either's fine.
Okay. And Goose, did we get your drink of choice?
Not yet.
Right.
Goose orders a. This is gonna be so dumb. Goose orders a martini glass filled with water and peas. That's it. So now there's this horrible warbling noise of them just
It was just
like someone blowing bubbles into something. They're
So-
just ham on peas.
I'm gonna one up you, Mudkip. We're gonna call it a Long Island iced pea. So yeah, with those drinks in hand, the captain, the boss, pours themselves a traditional scotch and water, goes behind their desk and flicks a switch and looks at you, has a couple drinks in silence and says, well, now that no one can hear us, I wish you were here on for better reasons, but I'm missing some people and some bad things have happened. And we think it might be connected with those shelters or whatever they are that are melting out of the ice. We know a bit more than we did when we sent the information to your headquarters. I've got the notes here. And she opens up a hollow screen on the desk and it pops up in 3 dimensions so that no matter where in the room you're looking from, you can see the documents.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, we've had one of the cabins burned down one night, which is odd. They're technically supposed to be fireproof, so we know an accelerant was used, but tests couldn't be done before a snowstorm blew away any potential evidence. One person died, apparently without waking up during the fire. There's also been a lot of sightings of ape people, bear people, dog people, call them what you will. They've been made mostly by the patrols that we send out. Obviously, they're the ones that are out of the colony the most, but other people have seen them as well. So much so that everything west of town we just had declared off limits to be safe. The reason for that, well, a couple reasons in fact. One of the emergency food bunkers we have out there has been found broken into and plundered. They took absolutely every single food item in there, down to the last Twinkie.
Twinkies?
Yeah, we had them. We don't anymore. Then there's... I hesitate to call it a murder, but one of our colonists was found dead in one of the fresh river melts. It looks, depending on who you ask, like they were attacked or like their injuries were self-inflicted. That we don't know, but we'd like you to take a look at the site of the attack and see if you can make anything of it. There's also the missing investigators that started all of this. 2 of our locals, actually. We didn't ask them to go, but they're colonists. They're adventurers by nature. They packed up their stuff and they pissed off up the valley, and nobody's seen them since, and I've refused to allow anybody to go to rescue them. So, can you help?
Goo is gonna look at the other 2.
Yeah, probably.
Lala is like vibrating at the speed of light.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And Lala just goes, yeah, 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 yeah.
Like a kid going to Disneyland.
You're one of those drunks.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Let's get naked and run across the bridge.
No.
Lottie, how do you respond to the question? Not the question I asked, the question the local mayor asked.
Probably. Chances are maybe. Highly likely. I might be a little drunk.
Apparently your ball turns into a magic 8-ball when you get a little drunk.
Please ask again later.
Yes.
I just realized Goo is the designated driver and they
Yep.
didn't get drunk.
Yes, you are. Yes.
And they are riding on Goose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Designated waddler.
When Goo turns their head around, they shift to the angry gray and orange
yes.
goose. And they look up at the lady. We'll look into it.
All right. Well, as you probably know, there's days here are like 48 hours long, and it's just gone dawn, so you've got all day to do this if you want. And you remember reading the report. Seasons here are the winter that just passed was 3 Earth years long. So now they're going to get a 3-year spring, a 3-year summer, a 3-year fall. That's how slow this planet rotates. It's also why there's only this tiny strip of habitable land around the middle.
Out of character, that sounds like paradise.
It never goes, in my head, it never goes above 20 degrees on this planet. Even in the height of summers, yeah. From
Celsius for those watching.
Yes, Celsius, yes, sorry, yeah. I'm Canadian, but not that Canadian. I like it slightly below frozen. So the mayor shows you a map of the colony and the surrounding area and sort of posts where everything is on it. From the closest to you to the actual structures melting out of the glacier, the burned out cabin is in town. The disappearances, that they didn't mention actually, an entire family is also missing, she tells you as she points to a house near the edge of town. There's our murder victim. She points to the side of the river just outside of town. The food bunker break-in just further west of that. Everything is just going in this trail going west. And finally, and she taps where the shelters have melted out of the ice, our missing investigators. They've been gone almost 6 weeks. I know it only took you 3 days to get here in hyperspace, but that was 6 weeks our time. Sweeper.
Goo.
I'm loving it.
Goo looks back at the other two. How functioning are you two right now?
I can shoot a gun.
Fly through.
Not functioning at all. Okay. Goose is like mechanical arm.
Fly me, Goose.
Oh.
Their arm kind of pauses and they stare at you, Lala.
You really are the designated driver. You have to take all your drunk friends home, except you have to take all your drunk friends to work.
Like Goose kind of gives Lala a look of like, you really want to say that to a goose? And then like their arm continues reaching past and pulls a USB out of their backpack,
Okay.
plugs it in to download the map, and then inserts the USB into their head.
Right.
Oh wait, pause. Tink, turn around. Tink, turn around. Tink, turn around. Plugs it in.
It's the year 3744. Many of Earth's problems have been solved. Some of them fucking haven't. So you finally get the USB inserted into your skull. And then you have to format it and do it again. But never mind. You finally get it in there. And yes, the Google Arthuria takes 10 minutes to download. You have to agree to pay 5 credits a month or there's going to be ads. But eventually you have a realistic map of the area between this whole affected strip of land between where you are right now and where they're melting out of the ice.
Right. And Star Wars style, the red orb glows and there's now a 3D projection in front of us.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty.
The first one was a tiny, worried old man, but that one quickly fades out and is replaced. You reuse the USB, you see. Didn't format it first. See, that's what happens. There's still stuff left from the previous user.
At one point, he's a worried old man. It fizzes. It turns into a goose doing something. It looks like it's dancing, and it just very quickly fizzes and goes to the map.
Like switching through channels on an older TV.
And even though it was only for 2 seconds, somehow that shot of that goose doing that weird thing goes viral. But never mind. You don't know that till after the adventure is over. So there's now a 3D map hovering in front of Goose.
Nobody sees it, but inside Goose's
Oh, only
brain.
you. Okay. Okay. Perfect.
Well, no. I'm in Goose's brain. We see a little virtual desktop assistant Goose
Yep.
waddle over to the video of the dancing goose. Delete. Comes back. Everybody can see the map I'm projecting.
Yeah, it's image deleted. Yeah, it just stays
It's
there.
like the Angry Goose Game plugin that you can have the Angry Goose follow your mouse and it drags things off the
Chase your
screen.
mouse around.
I want to use that, but that little avatar goose makes sure that thing never shows up on the internet.
Yes.
No, delete.
Because you might be the only one that knows what that goose was doing. Asking for a friend. Where would you like to go? What would you like to do? We're supposed to get this done in 2 weeks. I don't want to rush you, but
Goose is gonna waddle back outside, hoping the cold air will snap the other two out of it.
oh yeah, it makes you feel warm. Alcohol does out in the cold. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're cold.
I
But
have a
you're,
tempered suit.
it depends how drunk you are too. Sometimes you feel the cold, you just don't care.
I think
Lala's
my
a little bit more focused. She's
Yeah.
still just as vibraty, but she's focused.
Yeah, you
She's
know.
like,
Yeah, you can now. Yeah, you can aim
I,
it.
I,
Yeah.
I think my suit maintains very certain temperature, so I'm
Yes.
just sort of spinning in the centrifuge cup holder again. Like, wow, the sky is so beautiful today.
Oh, I didn't mention. In my head, you were wearing a tiny axolotl snowsuit.
Yes, something. Yeah, it's
with
like
the
a
hood
little.
that's got holes in it for your gills,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a
But
it's
you
like a
look- yeah.
spacesuit, but for like Aquarian spacesuit.
Yeah. Perfect. I love it. So, where would you like to go? I
I
wanna
think
run
we
this
should
game
find the
forever.
investigators.
Straight to the investigators.
Straight to the investigators. That would work.
Are we all in favor of this?
Yeah.
All right. You head west through town. Everywhere you go, you're just never going to get used to it. Every time people see you, it's a double take, it's a triple take. The mayor of the town is escorting you at least as far as the edge of the town. But even then, you see people are you see that one smartass says, "He taking your pets for a walk?"
Body waves
Goose.
high.
The goose's head snaps over to look at them.
And I see you've got the one with the teeth. And he says, "Oh shit!" And he goes back in the bar. But yes, that's not going away. Even though you're here to save these people, that's not what they see. They see a goose, a hyperactive sugar glider, and a giggling cup holder at the moment. And you make your way through town, past the burned out cabin. As you get to the creek, there's a bridge that crosses this creek. And the mayor has come this far with you. And she says, I wanted to come here because it's right here. This is where she was attacked. And they found her face down in the creek just over there. And she points just off to the side. And there's a disturbance in the lichen. In some places, it's torn right down to the stone.
Handle it from here.
Lila is going to, I mean, she's still just like, but she's focused, right?
Yep.
So she like clambers out of her cup onto the ground and she's like all up in the lichen because she's tiny
Yep.
and she's like, okay. You know?
Yep. Yeah.
She's
what
trying
do
to
you-
see if anything is like trapped in the lichen. I mean, it
So
was
you're kind of
disturbed. If there's signs of like
investigating?
direct.
Searching?
Yeah.
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 Any skills which might help you do that?
She's a survivalist.
Absolutely. You betcha. So give me a roll with advantage for this. 2
Okay.
successes. Technically, for this game, it doesn't matter, but 2 successes is always better than 1. You start digging around, and because you're so small, this stuff is quite big for you. You find some, it's kind of gross, but skin. It's been torn off like by their fingernails.
Okay.
Ugh.
You
Yeah.
can tell there's even a broken fingernail here that you find. They were pulling
Okay.
so hard at their own skin that they broke their fingernails doing it.
Okay.
There's, you can see a pattern here. She ended up face down in the water in a place that should have been easy for her to pull herself out of. She just had to put her hands down and push her face out of the water. But she didn't. In fact, it looks like she put her face in the water on purpose.
Nope, 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 nope. Lala kind of like picks up the fingernail and scrambles back up to Goose and Lottie and is like, weird, 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 weird.
Also gross. But
Yes.
yeah.
I'm
Sorry,
gonna
wrong
go.
voice for this goose.
I'm gonna reach out for the fingernail and like hold it real close to my bowl and like.
Yeah.
There was water.
Mhm.
Should I go into the water?
It's gonna be very cold.
That's okay. And I sort of like tumble out of the cup holder
Yep.
and I squish over. I'm like, I'll be back, and I jump in like.
You go into the water, and yeah, you've never been in water this cold in your whole life, but your spacesuit helps. And it's like being in a dry suit. It's still cold, but it's not disablingly cold. And you start swimming around under the water, and you can see where this person tried to use the rocks on the bottom. They were scratching their face against the bottom of the creek.
Oh, crap.
Oh no.
Uh-oh. I'm hoping they're going to be back in just a second, and so I'm not going to change the cameras quite yet. If they don't get back for a second, I'll fix this. But so, what is your response to that?
I think. So it looks like someone tried to rub their face off at the bottom of the creek.
That is
Okay.
exactly the impression I was trying to give. Yes.
I think that sobers Lottie up plenty.
Yeah.
Lottie immediately like burst back up on the top of water. Yo, someone tried to rub their face off in this creek.
The mayor, as she's turning away, turns back and says, "Yes, we found most of her face missing."
Oh no, I think it might be down and maybe that way. At this point,
That's one of those true statements that just makes people go, "Why did you say that?" I've just got to fix Lolly and Lala here. They're in different spots now. Actually, no, wait a minute. I can do it this way. There we go. Yeah.
Sorry, my internet went for a
It's
second.
all good. It's all good. We're back and we're fixed. Just to fill you in, Lottie found most of the rest of this young person's face on the bottom of the creek.
Oh, whoa,
The
okay.
mayor said, that this matches what they found was most of this woman's face was missing. And it looks like most of the damage was self-inflicted.
Oof.
It can't all be fun and games. This is a mystery. after all.
this is
yeah,
a
yeah.
serious mission with serious people.
No, it's just a mystery.
Honk.
They said you couldn't do a comedy mystery with a murder in it. And I said, watch this. I know some people.
Like as Goose is standing there, they're not like their body's not moving, but their mechanical arm reaches down to the lichen on the ground
Yes.
and plucks a little bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're gonna put it in one of the empty cup holders where it seals shut and starts analyzing.
Perfect. Oh, that's why I love playing with creative players. You just gave me a way to give you information that I was going to have to kind of throw at you, and now I don't have to. The analysis comes through. It takes a while. This is the little view inside your head HUD, the heads-up display that's inside your head. Takes a. It says
The desktop.
Substance. The desktop. Thank you. So substance unknown for a long time, and then finally it comes up, and it still says substance unknown, but probable reaction on most living flesh. Levels of ticklishness beyond normal levels.
Oh no.
Goose's mechanical, like again, they're not moving.
She
Their
got-
mechanical arm is just.
Yeah.
The mechanical arm is gonna reach around behind them and grab Lala.
Yep.
Very carefully lift them up.
Yeah.
and then like kind of shake them a little bit to try and get whatever lichen was rubbed onto their fur off.
Mm-hmm.
Lala's in like Lala has robes, right, and stuff like that. Like her arms are like exposed, but she's mostly like
are your
Yeah.
hands exposed?
yeah.
Yeah.
Then
Ooh.
yeah, they're
So
shaking you
plug,
off.
Yeah. As you finish the scan, your desktop allows you to add a filter to your vision field for your non-organic eye, and it allows you to see it. There's just a puddle of it. There's a little bit on the bridge. It looks like the attack happened on the bridge, and she stumbled off the bridge. You can tell this from the blot marks on the ground where it's dripping as she was running. She ran down off the bridge and almost immediately went to the water in one spot. And there's a stain near the side of the water. It looks like she splashed water on her face trying to get it off. And then that's the place where she lost control, because now that you're looking, you can see tiny drops of blood that have soaked into the lichen along with these little drops of this liquid as she worked her way further up the bank, getting more and more desperate as she went, ripping more and more lichen as she went, until finally she tried to wash it off, and finally, in her last moment of desperation, tried to scrape it off of her face. Imagine the worst tickle you've ever got times 10 on your
Yeah.
face.
Yeah.
Mm.
I tried to think of a cute, horrific death. This is what I came up with.
You see Goose's other mechanical arm reach up and grab like the red orb and start adjusting it like a camera lens.
Yeah.
And then like this scan comes out over the ground, so everybody can start seeing what you just explained to me, like all those blots of liquid.
Perfect.
And they're gonna look at Lala, and they're gonna see if there's any of that on their hands.
Is Lala okay?
Lala is fine. There is a big blob on one of your boots. You stepped in some, but you haven't apparently touched it yet.
Okay.
Uh,
Lala's gonna like shake her leg, like, because she's be like, I'm assuming that Goose is like kind of like scruffing her almost.
Yeah, that makes sense. Lottie, you were in the water with it. You were crawling around the lichen with it. It is all over your snowsuit. It's just everywhere. But it's not inside. Luckily, you didn't pour it over the top like a drink. That's an image that's going to last a long time. What are you doing?
There's
Get
a
drunk?
pause. There's a pause, and Goose looks down at their rubber feet.
Your own feet are untouched.
Okay, so with the scan up,
Or you'd know.
they're going.
Yeah.
With the scan up, they're going to like the floor is lava. They're going to avoid these blots to go over to where Lottie is.
Yeah.
They're not gonna touch. They're not gonna touch that.
Nope.
Yeah, no.
Lottie, what are you going to do? You're all covered in itch goo.
Okay, I think Lottie is gonna sit down and just like try to peel it off.
Why don't I know prestidigitation? Why don't I know prestidigitation? Yeah, I like that. And because of that, it now has a new texture. It used to be like a really liquidy thing. It's kind of thick and gooey, like oh, I know what it. You know that like when you get a new bank card or a new credit card and the information is stuck to the back with that clear stuff. That
Oh,
clear
the
blob.
adhesive.
Yeah,
glue.
it's that. Yeah. I probably should have put that on the Lines and Veils question list from the reaction I just got. I should take that back. But yeah, it's kind of that.
I think it's more of
consistency so you can-
annoyment.
Yeah, it's just like an
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
On the bright part,
memories of being
the
an
nice part is it
adult.
means it's easy to tell when you've got it all off. So it only takes a couple
Yeah.
minutes. The mayor looks at you and just starts backing away because they can see it on the ground. Now at least we know what to look for. I'm going back to safe. I mean, home. I mean the colony.
Coward.
Yes. I did not get where I am today being brave. That's why we called you.
Goose is gonna hold their hand up for them to wait, and put Lala back in their backpack and look at them. And go, can you grab my spare USB?
Lala is like,
It's easy to find. It's like one of dozens that they can download
Absolutely,
stuff
yeah.
they know to give others.
Yeah.
So they're gonna replace their unicorn horn with a new unicorn horn after flipping it 3 or 4 times. and then waddle over to the mayor and hand it to them so they now have all the analysis.
Okay, nice. And the mayor takes it and pulls out their tab and puts it in. No, I don't want to format it. Oh, yes, I'll convert it to Windows. And there's a long wait. And okay, thank you. Now that we know what we're looking for, we can make sensors for this. This is going to help a lot. Thank you. I have to go back now.
Yeah, they'll take the USB back in case they find anything else, and they're gonna plug their new unicorn horn.
Absolutely. By the way, if you want, the food bunker is just up the road.
Good enough. Let's go.
So the mayor, you head in that direction. You back in your cups. In your cups used to mean drunk, but you're
As
not,
they're walking, Lala's like, "Do you think we'll find any stale Twinkies?"
Oh, I wonder if they have bananas.
Like one just like shoved in the corner. I know she said it was empty, but like maybe.
I'd say, and going back to the 8-ball thing, I think I twirl around in the cup and then I come back. I think there's a very unlikely chance that there's gonna be Twinkies in the corner.
Oh,
Very unlikely.
okay.
And
Of
you-
note, Lala trusts Lottie's 8-ball opinion more than actual science.
That makes perfect sense to me. That is character sensitive material that makes perfect sense to me. So, boarding your armored war goose, you head forth into the lightness. I was going to say darkness, but I specifically said you've got hours and hours and hours of daylight left. You avoid the sticky goo on the bridge that will make you itchy. As you stride boldly forth, you can't help but look back and see the mayor is now jogging back towards town, quite undignified in her haste to get behind the walls. You turn and move forward. You see in the distance the food bunker. It's a glorified phrase because all it is another food container or another container, empty of the ones that they've used to make the walls. But this one apparently used to be full of food.
Is it one of those containers like you would see on a boat?
Exactly.
Like those
yes.
big
Yeah,
cargo. oh, okay.
Exactly. Yeah. The ones that you can take from a boat, and put on a semi, and drive away as a
Yeah.
trailer. Yeah, they're exactly those.
So you guys see Goose's arms like bulk out again, but this is just in case they need a lift.
Yes. So.
Excuse you, Lala's loaded with sugar. Watch
Yeah.
her try.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Lala, this cup is getting small. So much energy. You might have kind of sobered up a bit, but there's still a lot of sugar in your system.
Oh yeah, Lala has like, you know how like sometimes when you're drunk, like you said, you feel the cold, but you don't care. Like Lala's warm.
Yep.
She's okay.
Yeah.
So she's just kind of like riding on Goose's like, I mean, Goose doesn't really have shoulders per se, but you know,
Well, they
kind
do
of like,
now because they got arms. This one's
well,
got
yeah.
big muscular
Yeah,
arms, so
right
big
around,
muscular
like,
shoulders.
she's kind of
Clearly.
like, I mean, and sugar gliders also can like just like cling to things.
Yeah.
So like she's
So
kind of like,
you're periscoped on my neck.
yes, exactly. That is exactly what I was gonna say. She is periscoped on Goose's
Oh, I
neck,
love
just
that.
like.
That's magnificent. Absolutely magnificent.
And Goose,
Yeah.
Goose, and I quote, does not give a shit.
Yes.
They have accepted that smaller creatures like to climb them. They're not. They just don't care.
Yeah. So, quite possibly, the smallest team to ever attempt to rescue a planet from evildoers makes their way into the morning sun. Across lichen wars. If you thought about it for a second, the battlefields have moved that much under your feet in the last 200 years, as a very particular lichen and a very particular moss argue over a rock. It's that kind of place. The valley starts to get narrower as you move to the west. The ice wind comes down off the glaciers on both sides. It's starting to feel like being inside, or at least it feels to me like being inside, you know, one of those inside-out aquariums where you walk through? And
Yeah.
the fish are on the outside. It's like that, but only to the sides. It's like somebody parted the sea and you're walking through it. That's it. They parted the sea and then they froze it, and now you're walking through it. It's green, emerald, pale ice as far as you can see on both sides. The horizon is only, that wide when you look up between the glaciers as they close around you. The bunker, and ahead of that, in the very far distance, you can see an entrance, a melted bubble in the ice, and in it these small. For a second, they almost look like old stoves, those beehive stoves, but you see they're bigger than that. They might be small cottages. What do you do?
Goose is focusing on the food storage that was raided.
Yeah.
That's
Lala's
pretty-
like,
yeah.
food.
Yeah. So you head
Keeping their scans open for that goop.
yes.
But they're also looking at the ground around the bunker, like seeing if there's any. They should not be doing this because it's not something they're good at. But looking for they're like claw marks, they're
Yep.
boot marks, paw prints. They're just seeing what was here.
Well, with the
in
information
in.
you gathered previously, I'm going to give you a regular test, not disadvantage, which you would normally be at because, like you said, you don't have the specialty. But because you're kind of adding to information you've already got, go ahead and give me a test, just a straight test,
Okay.
and see what you can figure out here. 5. Yeah, that's a success. Just outside the doors, you see, first of all, there's a tiny little splash of this sticky material near the door, and just a little bit. But it's easy to avoid, and you can light it up so it's easy to see. What there also is here is footprints. Little footprints. They're little. They're not much bigger than your goose prints. They've got a center pad and then 3 little toe pads that stick out the front. Well, you think it's probably the front. But they're only about that big around. That's what you found
Alright.
outside. The other two?
Deploy,
sorry, keep
deploy the munchkins.
Yes.
Oh,
Munchkin deployment system. You guys just found out this thing's got ejection seats. Ba-boink! Sorry, got you mid-drink.
Oh no, Lala would love if there was an ejection seat because it would launch her and then she
Yes.
could fly further. So,
Well, as far as I'm concerned, then there is now. If you're both okay with it, the person
Yeah.
with the cup holder and the person with the ejector seats, you can both. Yeah.
I have no idea how this backpack works for the goose. If there is something in there, if there's something
You
that
didn't even
works,
know.
it does.
Yeah, you had no idea.
I am tackling
It's
it
like a
Dirty 20
parachute
Gaming
pole.
does.
Yeah.
it's like a parachute pole.
Yeah. Yeah. Just
If
wanted
my
to-
backpack does something, then it does that.
It
I'm,
does.
I'm tackling it like
Yeah,
Dirty
yeah.
20 Gaming does. That's
Yes,
it.
I just wanted to make
Yes,
sure.
yes.
The only reason I
Excellent.
asked is because I wanted to make sure you were okay with it because it's your backpack. So yes,
It's their cups.
one of your assistants. No, that's the wrong word. One of your teammates flies off in one direction. Do you launch, Lottie? Do you launch? I'm giving you guys.
Yeah, I
Okay.
watch.
Boom! So one out of each shoulder. They've arrived on the scene. What do the two of you do? Goose is outside searching the ground and finding stuff.
I am making sure to illuminate any of that goop because you guys
Yep.
can't see it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Lala's definitely trying to make sure that she does not step in the goop.
Yep. Yeah, it's on the wall, so no problem.
And she's taking like a closer look at those footprints. Now that she's on the ground, I'm assuming she can
Yes.
see them pretty
Yep.
clearly.
Yep. And you head forward
Yeah,
and
she's
follow
like-
the footprints. Yeah.
She's squinting at him.
There's dozens of sets of them as soon as you start to look. They're coming in from all over the place. They walk in all over each other. So there was a whole bunch of them here at the same time. You also find a couple of small, varying colors of brown hair. Looks like animal hair, not human hair.
I was gonna say, is it fur or is
Yeah,
it?
it's fur. It's animal fur.
Okay.
Looks like it would be very insulative.
Insulative.
Yeah.
Mm.
Which is good because it's cold
Did-
here. Lottie?
She's gonna
Oh,
she's
sorry,
gonna gather
go.
some of that.
Yeah, gather some evidence. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you gather that. Lottie, what are you doing?
I did have a question about the fur.
Yes.
Does it look like a similar color to the armadillo bisons we saw earlier?
Oh, good question. No, but very good question. But what I'll give you for that great question is without a roll, I will give you some information. You look at it, and it turns out you're a specialist on fur, which is weird for an axolotl. Maybe you're fascinated with it because you haven't got any.
It's a
but-
hobby.
Yeah, it's a hobby. You're an expert on furs, and this is not like anyone you've ever seen before. This is alien in the truest alien sense.
This feels weird. Wow. And I'm gonna go look into any of like corners to see if I could,
You start-
partly to see if there's actually a Twinkie there, and partly to try to find this.
Yep. You head in there and start looking around. There is no Twinkie. You see this place has been picked clean. There's hardly any there's hardly even any dust left in here. Like, it's hard to see the footprints in here because they just came in and cleaned the shelves. There's not even a label left.
I was gonna say the only thing that's left in here is a case of LaCroix.
Even hungry aliens.
Please.
With that, the three of you gathering your informations. Everybody give me... Well, you tell me whether it's at where you're at mentally and psychologically right now, whether it's at advantage, regular test, or at disadvantage. The equivalent of a perception check. Because there was just a very faint sound outside, and I want to see if anybody heard it.
Oh,
So
Lala
you tell
is
me how
like,
much... Yeah, if you were paying attention, then roll 3 dice.
she's dialed in right now.
I think because Goose is now focused on the job, they're alert.
Yep. So 3 dice
It'll
for
be
you
able to
too.
finish,
Yep.
yeah.
Lottie?
Mine was a 3 and a 4. So
Oh, sorry, I missed the roll. Okay, so yes.
You
You hear
still
some-
have your focus on, Lottie.
yeah, I had to turn it off. No worries, I can't fix it.
That's okay. You were focused, so we'll give it to you. I don't care. You hear something outside. You hear like a cracking sound. Lala, you've been places. You are a sugar glider of the world, as it were.
Seen stuff.
You've been around blocks, not just one, but many. You recognize the sound of an iceberg calving when you hear it. Somewhere outside. Yes. Go ahead. Tell the story.
Yeah. Ice is falling. The sky is falling.
Oh no!
Goose is gonna lure for you guys to get in.
Yep.
Campers.
The two of you leap back into pod safety 1 and pod safety 2 now.
And the pods seal.
Little armored lids, like little ICBM silos. Just
So you guys can see out. Nobody can see in.
yes,
But now that Lala has mentioned that, can Goose see what's happening?
yes. You step outside and look up, and a whole piece of the glacier is starting to creak and tilt and fall towards you. At the very top, at the point it broke, you see a whole group of little furry critters. And that's all you've got time to see before you have to move. What do you do?
I can't explain it correctly, but Goose is turning in the direction that is like the shortest of this glacier.
Yep.
They're running and opening their wings,
Yep.
and they're going to take flight.
Yes. Oh, that's all it needed. The two in the backpacks, you feel a movement, and suddenly safety belts pop out. Around the waist, around your shoulders. A little helmet comes out over your tiny little heads, one of them with holes for gills. You go into complete lockdown. Your little cups fill with this gel to absorb the vibration. Goose, flop, 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 flop. The wings spread, flap, 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 flap. Looking at a goose, I have never been able to understand how they can fly. But the effort that they put in is clear. And you have a backpack on and metal wings, but it doesn't matter because the option left behind you is being crushed to an ignominious death under 1,000,000 tons of ice. So you just damn well do it. And you get off the ground, but only by this much. Your toes are still going flap, 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 flap for a long ways, and behind you, both sides of the valley. You head back towards the town at maximum speed, never gaining much altitude, but always being just above the ground. The tips of your wings going like they do when you're really flying fast.
Yeah.
In the cups, you guys can see the world just whizzing past you. Finally, the noise in the rearview mirror stops. Goose, you take a look back with your cybernetic eye, and you see the last two pieces of ice. And they stop.
Is the sky still intact?
Where you are, yes, but that whole section of the valley ahead of you is collapsed.
Goo
The
is
fact that
going to
Lala was right about the sky falling.
yeah.
Yeah.
Goo is going to
Hello,
pull
first time
up.
chat. Becca Goose, yes.
Goo is gonna pull up and bank to the left towards like the top of these glaciers
Yep.
and slide to a landing on top of the glaciers. Like waiting a couple seconds before they like fold their wings
Yep.
back up,
Oh, yeah.
and the safety procedures disengage.
The duck on the ice landing. You stop. The little containers open with a small gasp of steam out of each one. The safety gel retreats. The straps come undone. What do we hear? Yeah, that's what we see coming out of one. Just his head just going. Lottie, after a moment of that, what do we see out of the other cup?
Just flops. Flops out of the cup.
A complimentary moist towelette comes out to clean you off with the gel. Goose has no control over that. It just comes out.
It's automatic, yes. And as you wipe
But
this, yes, go.
when you guys look at Goose, they're breathing hard. You can see like glowing blue veins underneath their feathers to show the cybernetics for their wings.
Yeah.
And they turn their head to look at you guys. Did you guys grab the fur?
Oh, did you get the fur, Lottie?
Yep. You hold
The
it up and it's
mechanical
just
arms.
The, furs
The
just go
mechanical arms.
Yeah.
The mechanical arms had shrunken down to normal and like hooked onto their collar to be out of the way.
Yeah. Oh, I love
And
it.
one of the arms reaches out to take it and do an analysis.
Yep.
And Goose just plops down like they're sitting on a nest. They're gonna rest their wings.
Absolutely. You settle in. The breathing slows. You drop it into the analysis cup, and it starts to scan. Unknown, unknown, unknown. In the distance, at the edge, because you're up on top of the ice field now, at the far distance there's a crevasse in the ice, and out of it pops one little head, and another, and another, and another, and another,
Hi.
and another, and another. There's a whole
Lottie's
row.
waving.
Yeah.
Lottie's waving. To take us out, how do you respond? Lottie, you're waving at 100 tiny furry heads. Goose, how do you respond?
If Lala and Lottie are like just a little bit behind Goose to watch the analysis, you see the back of the backpack click and twist and slowly open. You can see there's a chainsaw inside, ready to be deployed.
Oh, Cobra Chicken with a chainsaw. They're fucked. They don't even know what's going to hit them. With that, oh, Lala, things appear to be getting serious here.
Lala literally, so I don't know how many of you watching know what sugar gliders look like, but Lala has like a black stripe down her forehead, right? And her eyes are black too. And she has a little backpack and she reaches in and rather than black paint, there's like this white chalky type of stuff. And she goes, bring it.
And to
More
fully
paint
cement
on
it.
sugar, baby. Sorry, Goose.
fully
go.
cement it.
Yeah.
I turn into the tooth Goose.
It's on. And with that, we will drop the curtain on this week's adventure. And I hate to say this, but it's going to be 2 weeks before we get to finish this.
I will be watching this on repeat.
Oh, this was lovely.
Oh, this was amazing. I had so much fun tonight. I knew when you guys volunteered, you honestly were the first three to volunteer. And I just went, yes, yes, yes. And then I looked at it and went, oh, this is going to be nuts. And then we did the session 0 and I went, yep, I was right. And then you showed up tonight and we did this. And this was special. This was, I do a lot of these, and this one was really special. I laughed all night long. It's a very serious story, and that's the challenge I kind of set myself. This is a very serious tale, but we're making it ridiculous, but we're still going to solve this mystery and solve this problem. So what remains for me is the thank yous. And we're going to start with these amazing, amazing performers. I'm going to do it in the opposite way I did on the way in. Let's start with Miyu the Jelly Cat. Oh, when you said, can I play an axolotl, after asking me how Barry the bear had to be, it was one of the first triggers that I went, okay, we're going to do that route? Good. I like that route. So between that and you guys winning so many rerolls, I can't even hit the button anymore. You guys just have rerolls for the rest of this whole adventure. But thank you so much, Miyu. If you would like, please post your stuff over in chat again now that there's some people here to see it so they can go and find you. But thank you so much for playing with us this evening.
Yeah, thank you for running it. This was a lot of fun.
I miss you guys. The more I play with you guys, the more I want to play with you guys, and that applies to everybody, including Mana Queen. Thank you so much. You kind of disappeared for a while. Work got you and life got you, and then work got you again, but we got you back. And that's all that matters. So thank you.
That's all that matters.
Thank you for bringing a completely different character than you did last time. Your last one was very serious and probably saved the day several times. This one is going to save the day, but only ever by accident and without knowing it. So I appreciate that very much. Thank you for bringing the difference.
Yes.
I love seeing the range in people.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
And thanks
I
again.
was like, what can I do that is very different?
Yeah, I don't want to wait 2 weeks.
I think I was the only one who didn't ask if it had to be a bear.
No, well,
And you were like,
after
He
everybody
decided.
else said, do I have to be a bear? I actually remember sending you a message that says, oh, by the way, you don't have to be a bear. Nobody else
and I
is.
was like,
Sold. So, yeah.
Done.
Sugar glider happened and away we went. For anybody that cares, we just took the tiny standard Tiny Frontiers revised rules and just added some new heritages to them. So if you're interested, let us know and we will send you the list of what we did. Oh, another first time chat from a viewer. We're bringing him out of the woodwork tonight. An Armadillo Samurai. You missed earlier. We had Armadillo Bison earlier. Yes, the animal capable of protecting itself when the big bad alien predators show up. But I almost did it again. I almost did it at the start, and I almost did it again. I almost forgot somebody. But how could I? Oh, Hellhounds 20. We have quite a long history, probably the longest, or at least tied for the longest history out of everybody that's currently here this evening. I think I met you and Miyu at around the same time. But I have had the pleasure of playing with you a number of times. You always bring me something that is unique. You always surprise me, and that's hard to do. So I appreciate you every single time you come and play with us. 4 voices voluntarily in one night. Thank you. Building the armored duck to end all, or the armored goose to end all armored geese. Wonderful. I'm going to ask you next week what GOOZ stands for, and I want an answer. But thank you.
I will figure it out.
Thank you so much for coming and playing with us again. I miss you all, and I want this to happen more often than it's happening now. So, but we will see you in 2 weeks. But before that, I got 2 more thank yous. The first one, when I thank people in chat on Twitch, it's usually the same people. It's usually our buddies and friends, and we know them all. But we had a ton of first-time chatters tonight, and I appreciate all of you for showing up and hanging around. We're in double digits all the way to the end of the show. I appreciate the comments. As you watch more and more of what we do, you'll see this is kind of par for the course, although tonight was kind of special. But thank you very much to everybody in chat who watched, everybody who chatted, and those lurkers that are left out there that still haven't said anything. We appreciate you too. I know you're there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And finally, the future people, the ones that don't exist yet, the ones that are watching this on YouTube at some point, not today. If you watched all the way to here, please hit the like button, because I'm going to assume you did, or you wouldn't have watched 2 hours of it. So, with that, that's all the thank yous. The only thing left to say is, well, 2 things. We'll see you here every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And until next time, as always, please be nice to each other. Good night.
Bye bye.